So I was 14 when I found out I was pregnant, and it was scary. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was alone for the most part. I made the decision to keep my son and raise him. Everywhere I went, people tried to talk me out of it. People wanted me to have an abortion or consider adoption, and that just wasn't an option for me. I guess I always looked older for my age, so I didn't have an immediate negative reaction in the hospital, when I went to get care, until they saw my chart and saw my date of birth, and they asked if it was like the right thing. So they had a counselor. They had me meet with a counselor right then and there, and just stopped everything they were doing and had me meet with a counselor to talk about abortion and adoptions, and really just abortion and the different ways we could have abortions, like today or tomorrow when there's these pills you can take and it'll be gone. And my son Isaiah is 3 years old. He is a little man, and yeah, he's excited, he's fun, he changed my life for the better, of course, and everything I do is for him.
I feel that we're often very biased against young people. Oftentimes we're afraid of young people. We're stereotyping them. We need to partner with young people, have them teach us about the issues that they care about deeply, help them teach adults about why this issue is important to them, because adults may really be out of touch with what's going on in communities.
We're here today with the California Coalition for Reproductive Freedom, which is a coalition of over 50 organizations in California that all are invested in ensuring that Californians have access to quality reproductive health care in California, and that our rights are protected.
Where exactly they're going to go?
Hi, what's your last name?
Liberto.
Liberta? Okay, your name tag's right there.
Okay.
I'm here today with our delegation from CLRJ. We brought women from Los Angeles and from the Bay Area. And we're actually here just to bring the Latina voice, the Latina perspective to the work and the policy around reproductive health and reproductive justice. Today I led a workshop that was sort of defining and distinguishing the differences between the three frameworks: reproductive health, reproductive rights, and reproductive justice, which is really just talking about reproductive health in a context that encompasses all of who we are and all of the social justice issues that touch on our reproductive health decisions.
Reproductive health emphasizes the very necessary reproductive health services that women need. Reproductive rights emphasize the protection of a woman's legal right to reproductive health care services. Reproductive justice is rooted in the histories of reproductive oppression and abuse in all communities, and is inherently connected to the struggle for social justice and human rights to change structural power inequalities.
As a reproductive justice movement, we believe in and defend women's right to have children when they want to, and to have the supports and conditions that are necessary for them to have those children. We believe and defend women's right to not have children, including access to abortion and contraception. And we also believe in our right to parent the children that we already have.
I have a child. I was very young. I am very young. So a lot of people thought I was incapable of doing certain things, or that I wasn't as smart as I was for some reason. So being like, oh, well, you're young, you're not going to be able to get a job, you're not going to be able to support your child. Like, no, I'm doing fine, thanks. The next one we're going to do is my program is Young Mothers United, and that primarily consists of a 12-week parenting class. A lot of it is just a place to heal, and we try to incorporate social justice as much as possible.
Friend, you can't really do that much anyway.
Being here, I've learned to heal from my trauma and share my story positively, and people come to me for information. Like, they look at me as a source of information and knowledge.
No food? No.
Hey.
Oh, hey, how are you? Oh. Good morning.
Young people need a lot of different kinds of information. They need to be able to read about family life education or sex questions that they might have, but they also need positive role models from the community who have learned about family planning or who have learned about sex education and who are able to share their own experiences and mentor the newer generation of young people who are growing up.
You don't ever just work on one issue, right? Because if someone's coming in to talk to you, if you're supposed to be talking to young people about teen pregnancy, inevitably you're going to talk about what do they feel their opportunities are in education and in the world outside of education. It ties in with the theory of intersectionality, which says that all people, women, exist sort of at this intersection of their identities. So I might be Chicana, I'm a woman, I'm heterosexual, I'm a mother, I could be a student, or I could be an immigrant. There's all these different things that make up who I am. And at that intersection, we really needed to look at sort of reproductive health and rights in a different way.
I think for reproductive justice, that's probably the biggest issue, like who should have the say-so. Normal people would think it's obvious, like an individual person, but a lot of the times they think there should be laws that say when you can get preventative care, or depending on your age, whether you can get preventative care, or whether you're just allowed to sign up for treatment. And I think a lot of that falls under reproductive justice.
How many of you is this the first time you've been at Reproductive Freedom Day? Whoa! So, how many of you are under age 25?
And so what we do is many of the groups that come bring delegations from their communities. So they'll bring young people or people who otherwise don't have access to the legislative process, and we educate them about what the bill is going to do and train them on sort of how to talk to legislators, and then we go and do visits in the Capitol. The thing that I think sometimes people misunderstand is that you can't stop with passing a policy. And I think that that's where sometimes people get tied up, is they think, well, we're going to pass this law, we've passed it, hooray, we're done. And in fact, no. Often passing the policy can be the easy part. Implementing the policy is where a lot of the elbow grease really comes in. Since 2010, at both the federal level and in state legislatures all across the country, there has been a dramatic attempt to roll back access to reproductive health services, roll back reproductive rights. Over 900 bills were introduced in state legislatures last year across the country that would have some sort of restrictive impact on reproductive health and rights.
Right now, there's a climate of just disrespect and attack. It's a blatant attack on women. And then really, we've talked a lot about the war on women recently. And I would like to see the change be respect for women, looking to women for their advice on these matters, and for to listen to our experiences and to our stories.
Do you have the camera? The camera.
Yes. And it became important to really be a voice for not only for myself but for my family, for my now for my daughters who are here with me today, and for the larger community of women that look like and maybe think like me, and to put that voice out there as an advocate.
I think in legislation there's a lot of disconnect, but when something happens to a person's family or friend or somebody close to them and they actually feel the pain or feel something that gets them upset enough to want to make those changes, you really have to make personal life connections in order to keep policy relevant for anybody. I guess my biggest hope for this policy stuff is to pay off so he doesn't have to go through all the stuff I went through and I see other people going through, especially the youth.
I came here with Women's Health Specialist.
what keeps me involved is that we see policies negatively affecting young women that we work with. And not just that, but negatively affecting me, myself, family, friends.
Concerned with when the law passed because that was...
So if there's any way that I can help or kind of tell people about what's going on and getting more people involved, we can only be more stronger in our efforts in changing the way that things are, because things need to be changed.